So now let us switch, and we are all eager to hear from Secretary Julie Su. She is Secretary of the California Labor and Workforce Development Agency. Governor Newsom appointed Ms. Su to serve as his cabinet advisor on labor issues and employment programs for workers and businesses throughout the state of California. Prior to the appointment, she served as the California Labor Commissioner and as the litigation director at Asian Americans Advancing Justice, the nation's largest nonprofit civil rights organization serving issues affecting Asian American community. Joining Ms. Su this evening is Brian Tanimoto, a representative from the Unemployment Insurance Branch of the Employment Development Department. So with that, Ms. Su.
Thank you so much, Mayor Ramos, and thank you also to Congressmember Schiff. We're incredibly fortunate to have you in DC, and you make us all very proud to be Californians. During this pandemic, all of us on Governor Newsom's team have been working together to address the multiple crises that we face: the public health crisis, the pandemic-induced economic crisis, and the longstanding economic, social, racial, and other inequities that have been revealed and exacerbated in so many ways. As Labor Secretary, I oversee agencies that protect workers and employers, and we think about them as three interrelated responsibilities. One, protect the health, safety, and well-being of workers who are employed, especially our frontline essential workers. Two, paying benefits to the unemployed, those critical lifeline benefits that Californians get in times of economic difficulty. And three, as we look to economic recovery, how do we make sure that we get people back to work safely and that we create more quality jobs that lift families out of poverty? An important part of this, which I know there are questions about, and I look forward to discussing tonight, is what we are doing to support employers and businesses, especially small businesses who make up the backbone of California's economy. As an example, I'm proud over the last 7 months to have worked with California restaurants and hotels and organizations like the Hospitality Training Academy, Unite Here, and One Fair Wage to repurpose existing businesses, turn hotels with their industrial-sized kitchens and restaurants into community kitchens, showing that we can both meet needs like food for seniors and keeping people in good jobs at the same time. So we've had to be nimble, we've had to be creative, and one of those projects I just mentioned, the Hospitality Training Academy, has served its 1 millionth meal to seniors and kept hundreds of workers working in good union jobs. One of the things that we know well is that if we cannot contain the virus, then we cannot stabilize our economy. And so a key part of that, going back to the first stream of work, is enforcing health and safety and other workplace protections. While we have seen during the pandemic the acceleration of telework, and there's lots of arrangements now that people did not think were possible that are working in telework to keep people distanced, to keep people safe, there's also many people and many industries for whom telework is not an option. And I know one of them that's really affected in this district is the entertainment industry. And as already mentioned, hospitality. So many of our most vulnerable workers, the caregivers in nursing facilities, our farm workers, our food processors, our grocery clerks, now more than ever, we're seeing that their health and safety is really public health and safety. And so through Cal OSHA and the Labor Commissioner, two divisions under the Labor Agency that are charged with enforcing labor laws, we have been doing more to make sure that workplace protections are meaningful and real in the workplace. We've worked to advise employers on what they need to do to keep themselves, the workers, and the public that they may interact with safe. And we have been issuing fines and penalties where necessary to bring employers into compliance. We're also launching an outreach campaign for employers and employees on COVID-related protections. And I want to acknowledge Senator Portantino, who is here, for his support for that campaign and the funding that the legislature, the state legislature gave to the labor agency. Part of what we're trying to do is make sure that employers and employees know all of the health and safety requirements that are there, the need to do a risk assessment at the workplace and create a site-specific plan, the need to train your workers on how to be safe and healthy, the need to do disinfecting and cleaning, to physically distance, and of course to always wear masks, as well as the new legislative requirement to tell employees when they may have been exposed to somebody in the workplace who tested positive, and also to tell the local county public health agency. And then, of course, we're spreading the word about the 80 hours of paid sick leave, some of which has been provided by the Federal CARES Act. Again, thank you to Congressman Schiff on that. And then for larger employers of 500 or more, the governor recently signed legislation requiring that those 80 hours of paid sick leave also be given so that Californians are protected. We know that if workers are going to work when they're sick or they don't feel well because they have no choice, they feel like they have to choose between their livelihood and their lives, then we cannot stop the spread of the virus. So those are some of the things that we're providing outreach on. Let me shift to unemployment insurance. I know there's a lot of questions about that, and I look forward to talking about that. I want to thank the team at EDD who's also here with me today. EDD has paid $101 billion in benefits in the last 7 months. Much of that is in federal funds, again, through the CARES Act passed by Congress. And there was originally a $600 per week on top of regular unemployment insurance as part of the CARES Act. And I heard every day from Californians about how much that added benefit meant to keep people afloat during these really, really hard times. But those benefits ended in July. About $55 billion of the $101 billion is in regular state unemployment insurance benefits. That figure is more than double what was paid in the 3 worst years of the Great Recession combined. So it gives you a sense of the magnitude of the challenges, of the suffering, and also of the work of EDD to issue benefits. But I don't say all of that to say that everything that we're doing has been enough. We know that there's so many Californians who are still waiting for their benefits. The delays, the uncertainty, the inability to reach somebody by phone are unacceptable. And that's why on July 29th, the governor created a strike team to set a path for needed reforms at the Employment Development Department. Part of that announcement was also the appointment of several new leaders at EDD, as well as someone at the labor agency to help make sure that we pave that path and walk that path effectively and efficiently, and that we get to a place where we're providing benefits to all eligible Californians as quickly and reliably as we can. But just 2 things I'll say about what the strike team did. The first is that we knew that we need to address the backlogs. And there were really 2 things for addressing the backlog. The first was the installation of something called ID.me, a new technology that was both to cut down on the number of cases that went into the backlog, meaning that needed manual review, but also as a way to crack down on fraud. Unfortunately, there's been a wave of fraudulent activity around unemployment insurance. It's across the country. I know that the Congress member is well aware of it too, but we've been hit with it in California too. And the unfortunate thing about fraudulent activity is that it really creates a tension between paying benefits out quickly and stopping the fraud. So let me just end with on unemployment insurance for now by saying that if you are the victim of identity theft and someone is applying for unemployment insurance benefits under your name, or if you get a bunch of mail from somebody who's using your address and it wasn't you, then we ask you to report that fraud. We ask you to report it to EDD. If you go on the EDD website, there's a fraud reporting form online that you can easily fill out. There's also a fax number you can fax to and an EDD fraud hotline that you can call for reporting that activity. I'm happy to share those numbers if that's important. And we are all working together to make sure that we can solve that problem. But our goal is to create a really human-centered system that will make sure that people who need benefits during hard times are getting them. And my last message before I just close this opening is that if you have applied for benefits and you have not received them, or you're waiting, make sure that you have certified for benefits. That's one of the ways that we're seeing that some people are not getting payments if they have not certified. So I look forward to sharing more with you and to talking also more about how we will rebuild our economy and build a more resilient and robust economy in which everybody is included.